Hello everyone and welcome back to another math video. Today we're looking at the key features of quadratic equations. This will be the speedrun version. If you'd like the normal lesson, I will link that in the description below. All right, here's your 30-second review of what you have to know before you attempt this lesson. You should already be familiar with quadratic graphs and the terminology, vocabulary like vertex, y-intercept, maximum, minimum, axis of symmetry. And secondly, you should know about PEMDAS and how to substitute values in and calculate order of operations. If you don't know how to do these two things, quadratic graphs and PEMDAS, please go watch the refresher videos that I'll link in the description below. Do not attempt this lesson without knowing how to do those two things. All right, here we go. This says find the y-intercept of the parabola. Parabola is just the fancy word for the quadratic graph. That's the shape, right? So it's either a upside down U frowny face or a U smiley face. Okay, that's just the shape. All right, to find the y-intercept, what you do is you say, okay, A equals 1, that's the number in front of the x squared. B equals -7, that's the number in front of the x. And C equals 7. All right, and the y-intercept is always this C value. So the y-intercept is located at 0, 7. 0, 7. All right, for the axis of symmetry, this, again, let's start with A equals, so 10, B equals 10, C equals -7. The axis of symmetry is a formula, and the formula is x equals negative b over 2 times a. And now we're going to plug in. So we plug in 10 for b, and we plug in 10 for a because they're both 10. And I'll go this direction. And now we get -10 over 20, which can be reduced to -1/2. And so my final answer here is x equals -1/2. That's the axis of symmetry. To find the vertex, we're going to use the axis of symmetry. So we start again with A equals invisible 1, B equals -3, C equals -4. We do that x equals -b over 2a again, which is going to give us -3, be careful there, over 2 times 1, which is going to give us 3 over 2. And now to find the vertex, right, is two numbers. It's a point on a graph. And so to find the second number, we know the x value is 3 over 2. To find the y value, we're going to go back to our original problem, and we're going to take this x, 3 over 2, and we're going to substitute. We're going to replace. So now we have 3 over 2 squared minus 3 times 3 over 2 minus 4. You can do this in your head. You can do this by hand. You can use a calculator. I'm going to do it with a calculator. When you type that into a calculator, you are going to get -25 over 4, which is -6.25 if you're doing decimals. So your final answer here, right, you have an x and you have a y, right? This is your y value. So we just sort of put them together. So final answer is 3 over 2, comma, -25 over 4, right? This is our vertex. All right, to find the maximum, we're going to still use our -b over 2a. So let's start with a, b, and c. A equals -10, b equals -6, c equals -1. We do, let me make a little more room here. We do x equals -b over 2a. We get -6, -6 over 2 times -10. This gives me 6 over 20. This can be reduced, and it will give me 3/10. Once we have the 3/10, now we go back to our original problem, and we're going to replace all of the x's with 3/10 that we just got. So now I have -10 times 3 over 10 squared minus 6 times 3 over 10 minus 1. When we plug that into a calculator, we get -1/10. So now the vertex is 3/10 and -1/10, but it wants only the maximum value. And remember, the maximum value is just the y coordinate of the vertex. So it's just this part. So my maximum value is -1/10. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it's time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these two problems on your own. Let me clean that up. Okay, hopefully that looks better. Go ahead and try these two, and we'll check in just a second. All right, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. All right, for the first problem, your y-intercept is 0, 5, your axis of symmetry is -1, your vertex is -1, 4, and your minimum here is 4. And for your second problem, you should have gotten a y-intercept of 0, -8. Your axis of symmetry is x = 0. Your vertex is at 0, -8, and your minimum here is at -8. All right, that is it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.